Welcome to the Power to Shred podcast. This is where unstoppable energy and peak performance are born from unlocking the power that's already within you. And my guest is Sarah Washburn. Welcome.
Thank you.
And
Excited to be here.
Yay, I'm excited that you're here. So I have a short little intro, which could definitely be longer, but our guest is Sarah Washburn, a mountain mama, mermaid at heart, and creator of the 200-Hour Foundations Yoga Teacher Training. She's a passionate yoga educator, master trainer, and founder of Just Breathe Yoga, which blends strength, simplicity, and play. From alpine trails to floating yoga mats, Sarah empowers students to connect deeply with their bodies and nature through joyful, anatomy-driven movement. Welcome, Sarah.
Yes. Well, thanks for having me, Audrey.
Oh, pleasure. So tell us a little more about you, your origin story. Like what has led you to taking the path that you're on? What inspired you to yoga and all of your adventures?
Oh, gosh. That could be a long story. But I've always had a really adventurous heart growing up, and that was just kind of instilled in me from the way that my family always traveled and camped and hiked together. And when I was in my early 20s, I actually lived in one of the places that we used to visit a lot as a family, which was Moab, Utah.
Oh, nice.
And that really was my first introduction to yoga. And I don't know why my friend had handed me the card deck and was like, you would probably really enjoy this. You just follow these symbols and do the practice, and once you get comfortable there, you move to the next round. And I was just like, wow, this is really amazing. I feel really enlightened after this. And it just kind of, was one of those things. I'm going to go out and adventure and hike. So I'm going to do yoga because this feels good before I go out. Mm-hmm. And then, fast forward a few years, I had my first son, and I really had no idea what I wanted to do with my, life. Early 20s, I was still figuring things out, and I knew that I wanted to be in health and fitness, and I wanted to be able to still adventure and show him the life that I grew up loving. And it was a few years after that I found my first hot studio and went into that room. And within that first practice, I just remember driving away from the studio and was in tears, just of relief, of life filling. I knew that this is something that I had missed, my body had missed, but also like it came back to me in the right place and the right time. And that was about 13, 14 years ago now. Mm-hmm. And within 6 months, I was standing in front of my first class. I was in the middle of my yoga teacher training, and the studio that I was at needed a substitute teacher like right away. We were literally training that night. Mm-hmm. And she looked at me and said, Sarah, can you do this? And I was like, I'm terrified, but yeah, I'll go and do that. So
Good
I did.
For you.
It really helped. And I think one of the things that really has kept me in the teaching is it just gives me that confidence that I didn't have when I was in my early 20s and was a single mom, that it just really helped lighten that up and build that fire inside of me to just say yes to scary things and just go and do it regardless. So
I love that, saying yes to scary things. It gets you out of your comfort zone, which is really, a lot of your messaging that you're talking about, like I love on your page, is getting people to explore their truth and to courageously live their individual adventure. That if we don't have scariness, we stay the same. I mean, those are the invitations to create change. So, yeah. How would you explain so that your journey of taking that step, like I'm terrified, but I'm going to do it. And And I think that's a lot of times, in the social media and all the things that we say, everything perfect, 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 but that's not real life. And from what you're sharing, it's like, care to elaborate more upon, like, what was that first time like?
I was shaking. Just like every muscle, every fiber was just shaking until I tapped into the power of my breath and used that to regulate my own nerves. And it's okay um, to let people see you shake or be vulnerable and to still be able to hold the space for them and to, um, let's see, just that feeling of they can see me raw, kind of stripped down. Like I'm still a human. I'm still just as scared or terrified in some ways to do things. But then I can push past it with the power of the breath and being able to lead from that place, I think is really real for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think that I might have missed part of the question too.
That's perfect, because really it's just an invitation to share more, to go a little deeper, which is what the yoga practice is. And how yoga is not only the asana, the physical practice, but it's a practice of life. I mean, the practice really happens. You leave the mat and you take it with you. And that's why I just wanted to dive right into that from what you talked about is like shaking, terrified, and still doing it. And but regulating by using the breath, because that to me is teach that for yogis, non-yogis, the power of the breath. That's our superpower that we all have once we understand how to use it. It is so powerful. And what I really love about what you shared is you're shaking, but you still do it. Like it doesn't mean that you have no fear. It's understanding that you have fear, and the courage is doing it despite the fear. Taking a deep breath, the simplicity of a breath.
Yeah.
So that's something that kind of leads into the next question is like, how does yoga help people to unleash their natural inner power?
Um, Lots of different ways, and I think it's very individual for each person.
Yeah.
I always use the catchphrase, we can do hard things because we can. If we look at any human person that is, past a month old, they've, they've done hard things to be there. And when we have that struggle on our mat, when it's in that intimate place of a practice where we're just focusing on ourselves, we're focusing on our breath, we're focusing on our movements, we can tap into that power that nobody else can see, that nobody else can hold on to or touch or even feel. Like that is such an intimate part of you that I believe that when you take that theory, even if it's just like showing up to your mat, for a day, like I have every reason not to be here, but I know that I need this. So I'm going to show up and get onto my mat and I'm going to just breathe. I'm going to move. I'm going to see what I can push through to the end. And then you feel like you lost 10 pounds or the weight of the world is off your shoulders. And you realize like, okay, I can do this. I can move on. I can get past whatever that emotional block is, whatever that busy list of the day is, whatever that season of your life is holding you back from. That if you simply move and get your energy happening throughout the body, it unlocks that mind connection of, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah. I love how you said that it's too. It's showing up. Showing up. Like you just got to show up. You show up, and in order to unlock that power within, it's not about necessarily doing more. It's about letting some of those things go. Like you said, it's like carrying the weight of the world on your shoulder, and you start to practice and see like, I don't need to be carrying this. This is weighing me down, and part of the practice, the practice of yoga, but the practice of being aware of what you're doing is what is truly most important, and comes back to the breath and comes back to just simplifying things. Of life is so complicated. There's so many things, so many distractions.
Complicated, yes.
To come to the mat and just like you said, I'm just going to work on my breath right now. I am just going to work on alignment, keeping myself in alignment.
Yeah. Like strengthen your muscles and you can strengthen your day, strengthen your mind. You can, when you feel strong, you're more confident to move into some of those or deal with some of those challenging aspects of life. But when you feel worn down, tired, weak, like you've been put on the back burner and forgot about for a week,
Mm-hmm.
um, that energy carries into what you feel that you're capable of doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and tapping into the energy is just allowing your own energy to flow. Because I like, again, so words, a lot of the words on your website and it's like awakening a ferocious passion. It's these things. It's unlocking power within, awakening ferociousness, within oneself. It's it's something that is already innate, and this practice that you are guiding them to that, guiding them to expansion. Like, hey, I'm going to lead you to where it's a little scary, and we're going to breathe through
We're
it.
going to wear it down. We're going to break through it, and we're not going to let it be a barrier.
Mm-hmm. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that? Because I really love how you just said that, breaking it down. Like, is that something that you consciously, how do you challenge people to break down those barriers, to wear down the beliefs, the stuff? How do you, as an instructor, go about doing that?
I think that it's evolved a little bit through the years, but kind of lately it's just accepting it, like realizing, and it's something that I've worked through myself is like, I know what these barriers are. I know what holds me back. I know what is going to maybe shut me down. But being courageous enough to understand that about yourself and continuously like just come face to face with it. And so for classes, it's like, yeah, I know you're tired, but let's keep going. Let's just do this one more time. Let's get through the repetition, because then our body realizes, no, I'm not, you're not beating me up. You're doing this to build me up stronger. It's, if there's emotional blockages, like, why is something keeping you from bringing out your potential? And it's because of the doubts, the self-talk, the things that you return. So just repeating, understanding, being okay with it, sitting with it, those are all good things. But also knowing that they don't defy you. They don't hold you where you are, that there is just on the other side you can leap over. So revisiting it time and time again. Um, with some of my private clients, I'm able to, bring them back to those, like, I know you hate this pose. It's uncomfortable, but that's because your body needs it. So let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take the mental time to breathe and get comfortable with it. And then before you know it, we're in that pose and they're not even griping before we get there,
Mm-hmm.
because we've acknowledged it, we've identified it, we're totally aware of it, but we're also willing to do the work to get through it instead of just giving up.
Mm-hmm. There's so
Which,
much in just what you said of a pose, the pose that the person hates to do. Or, I mean, that's pretty strong, but do you have people that really say that to you? Like, I hate this pose.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. Or we're doing it again. The it's just we've done this 5 times and like, well, let's do this. And it's kind of like the way that I've raised my kids too. I'm like,
Yeah.
sorry, you still haven't done that correctly. Let's do it again so you can understand, like, you are capable of doing it correctly. You just have to have the drive, the want, the desire.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have belief in yourself. And a lot of the repetition, it's like why we practice. Why do we
Hmm.
practice anything? We're never going to find the yoga perfect. I know everyone's heard the teachers in
Yeah.
classes say, there is no yoga perfect. It's always yoga practice. But there's a reason, because there's
Hmm.
always going to be a different day. There's always going to be a different blockage, as long as you keep showing up for yourself.
Hmm. Yeah. Drive, want, and desire. Powerful words, but it's a powerful practice. And perhaps I wanted to say is like maybe there's certain people that are drawn to this type of a practice that people will come to a class, but not everyone stays. Meaning, maybe they say for new participants, try it out. No, that's not for me. They don't come back. But for people that somehow they feel something, whatever you say, the atmosphere that you've created, all of those things that you do, the behind the scenes for people that are not instructors of what goes into it all is you're creating a certain space. The choice of your words, the choice of the flow of how movements are going to go from one to the other, perhaps the music, all the things. You're setting this tone to create, like you said, a space that's welcoming, where they're safe, where they feel that they can do, where they're able to do the practice and then start to see, like, there's something here. I think I want to keep doing this thing. There's something about, and it's not just that, it's that, and then, there's something about Sarah. This Sarah's got something. I want some more of this. I want some more of what she's giving me here. Which is also the beauty of this all is that that you're seeing, that perhaps as an instructor, that you see what people can't see for themselves, that you believe in them. Have you heard, so there's different quotes, but you believe in them so much until they believe in themselves.
I haven't heard that one yet, but I
Well,
like
it's
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the role of the instructor, of a coach, of a teacher, where there's so much belief, like you said, I know you can do this pose. We're going to do this again. I know you have the capability to do this correctly. So let's do this again. And then once they do it, then they know for themselves, oh, I actually can do this. Like, wow, she believed in me. She saw this in me. I can do this. And then, it's not just the instructor too. It's that relationship that's built on trust, that, wow, I can trust Sarah. She knows. She knows. She knows better than I know, because I didn't think that I can do it, and I did it. Like, wow.
Yeah. Um, I think, well, when I lead my yoga teacher trainings, what I really hope to instill in the trainees coming up into teachers is that the students already have it within them. It's just our job as teachers to draw it out, to see
Mm-hmm.
them where they are. And
Yes.
honestly, you can't see every student that comes in front of us. That's energetically, there's things that block that don't line up. Um, but when we have those ones that do repeatedly come back because of those feelings, that um, space that you've created as a teacher, and you're drawing that out of them. Like, there is a connection between the two of you that they feel, and that's why they keep coming back and showing up. That's why they believe in you when you tell them you can do this shape. Like, it's okay if you've had this injury, or there's limitations physically. We'll figure out a way to make you find joy right here in this body that you have, right here in this pose that you have. Um, and it's really a partnership between teacher and student, and that's
Yes.
one thing that I've really loved. Taking the practice out of studio and finding students that, because I do open air classes a lot, different locations, and it's brought in such a different aspect of people that are afraid to go to a yoga studio, or they just don't think that that is the right setting for them. But put them in nature and outside, and their eyes light up, their body lights up, they're free to move. And then if you put them in walls, they close down, so that
Mm-hmm.
they get that freedom from being in nature too. So
Mm. I love that. That is absolutely beautiful. And I love to think about that too, is because yoga is, thousands of years old. And the way that we know yoga now is not what yoga was before. And to go back to the roots, I love that simplicity of being out in nature. That they didn't have fancy yoga mats, they didn't have fancy yoga clothes and fancy yoga studios. Like they were outside. And when you said reach to the sky, they were reaching to the sky. There was nothing above them. It's like rooted into the ground, like you are standing on the ground. And that just brings so much more depth. And we're talking about the energy that you draw in, that the energy, the partnership, teacher, instructor, but then just the energy and relationship with nature itself, that you're one, like we are one with nature. When we're breathing in, we're taking that in, and that's beautiful. And I'm sure that just getting them out of their normal situation, normal routine, and to be practicing in such an incredible location, like saying Moab, for example, like, wow, transported into another place, like they're a different person. So that just sounds, I mean, just beautiful of how you're integrating and just being mindful of all of these different pieces or ingredients and creating this beautiful recipe for adventure, journey, expansion.
Yeah, especially life is noisy and busy, and we get stuck in these realms of just marking our boxes and doing the normal things. So it just feels natural to me to invite people to get out of those comfort zones and to try practicing outside. Well, people might look at me and it's like, so what? People might glance and they might be like, oh, I can't do that. She's like, that's what happens when we practice in open air and people are walking by and, they have their beverages or chasing their kids eating pizza and whatnot. They're like, yeah, there's no way I could do that. I'm like, well, want to make a bet? And then it starts a conversation. But they don't look at somebody and say, oh, look at that person doing yoga. They're too good to themselves. They're saying, wow, I wish I could move like that. And yeah, that was kind of a little tangent. But
That's a
I love,
beautiful tangent and perspective shift of things, because I think that's also part of what you do. What makes you so good at what you do is that unlocking within, or that invitation to get out of the comfort zone. Because again, you have the eyes to see. That's what the instructor is able to do. Like, I can see more for you. I can see your potential. And that's beautiful from what you're sharing.
oh, thank you. But yeah, just getting people out of the norm, like letting them relax in a different way, or actually breathe in a different way. Nature needs us to visit it as much as we need to visit nature, just as much as a teacher needs their students and the students need their teacher. It's just an exchange of energy that keeps us vibrant and just pulsating and, walking into a Wednesday with a little more awe than just, oh, it's hump day. Okay, good. We're on a downhill slope. We can get to the weekend. If you get to the weekend and you immediately, know that you get to sit outside and feel the breeze and have some community and move the body in some open air, and then hang out with your friends or your new friends, the person on the mat next to you afterwards. And it's so much more inspiring than just, oh, I'll meet you at happy hour. And then you go into your little box and stay at your home and you're like, oh, it's dark outside. Maybe I should get dinner and, settle in and get ready for the weekend, simply to get back to the pattern of doing everything all over again this week.
Yeah. So I like that again of trying to, I am trying to find a formula. When I'm talking with all the different guests, like based on your expertise and your specialization, everybody's different. Everybody's unique. So there isn't a one size fits all. But what I'm drawing out is getting people out of the box, getting people out of the routine, relaxing, because most people are not relaxed. They're super distracted. They're stressed out. So to relax and breathe, starting point of yoga, like take some deep breaths, regulate the nervous system. Being out in nature does that, helps you do that, encourages you to do that. Breathing fresh air helps you to do that. Do you have any other techniques that you would say, like, okay, somebody who's new, so especially say people that are new to yoga, like you were saying, people that are uncomfortable, they feel self-conscious, all those different things, but they still want to, like, I know that it's good for me. I want to improve my performance. All right, I'm willing to take that step. What are some, do you have one or two simple techniques that people could use right now to help them start making that step towards bettering themselves, better performance?
Um, like getting them to a yoga class or just kind of integrating the practice before their normal regimen?
Integrating a practice before their normal regimen. So, like saying, just right now, they're not able to go to your class, but they're listening to this podcast. Is there something that you could share with them that, oh, wow, she said to do this? I'm going to try that right now.
Um, Honestly, to breathe, because we are so busy when we move into, and I do the same thing when I am like going out to paddle. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting all your stuff, and I'm going out to get a really good workout, and I want to check all the boxes and make sure I have everything with me. And then I stand up on the board, and I'm like, okay, now I have to get into this space, just like I do on my yoga mat. So take 2 to 3 minutes and close your eyes and take a few controlled um, observation breaths of just how your body feels, how your mind is. Like, are those lingering thoughts of the to-do list, or my son's about to go into college, so is all your homework done? Like, just let that be. Everything else, you can pick it up when you're ready, when you're done with your practice, your performance, whatever it is. But if you let those things get in and distract you, that it's going to be just as messy on the outside as it is on the inside, or on the inside as it is on the outside. So just breathe. Like, honestly, the power of your breath is so incredibly powerful. Um,
I agree.
and it really lets you get into your mechanism, your, like, the machine of your body to connect your muscles, your movements, your intuition, and your performance all together. But if you're not breathing, if you're not letting yourself detach from the outside world or whatever else is going on, it's gonna get messy, and it's gonna distract you, and it's gonna keep your performance from peak.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yes. And isn't that, I am grateful for that share. Thank you so much, Sarah, because people are busy and they typically like, well, I have to do one other thing. Well, I need to use my wearable and I need to do this. Like, nope, you need to stop and you need to breathe. And then, like you said, with the repetition, okay, and now what? And take another breath. And now what? Take another breath. And now what? How about lengthening that breath? And now what? And then they start to, and then that shift, it can be as little as, depending on, like you said, how messy it is, or how congested it is, or however full and tightly scheduled you are on the inside. But once you start just breathing, just actually truly consciously breathing, of how your facial expression changes, the way that you carry yourself changes, like every single thing, your energy changes simply from the breath.
And then I guess another, like, I have a client that plays a lot of pickleball. So I encourage him, just take a forward fold, drop the brain, like literally just think of it as kind of shaking out the change jar. Just, you want to get every last little bit out of there. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
so busy after your breaths, just fold forward. Because then you have no other choice but to pay attention to your breath as you come back upright. And most likely, when you come up, you're going to bring those arms over the head because your body's inviting that movement. And you're going to feel 1,000 times better than when you first folded or you first started to breathe. And I mean, it's really simple. And then it always leads to a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that stretch felt good. I should kind of hang out down here and maybe move to this leg or move to that leg. And just getting, it helps bring your awareness into the physical body so your mental body can be present there.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful tip.
Beautiful tip. Thank you. Thank you. Bringing back to the simplicity, the breath, connecting with your body, coming back into alignment. The simplicity of letting go of all of the stuff, letting go of the distractions, letting go of the noise or some space from it to allow your natural potential to create space for it. As you were talking about, like we have to create space within ourselves in order for this, for people that are looking to up level their performance. If there's no space, there's nowhere to go. And so, like you're saying too, is just taking that breath to create some space within oneself, to take a fold, like, okay, let's roll ourselves up again. So I really appreciate that simplicity, the simplicity, because it's simple yet profound.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that with how busy and noisy everything is these days, that the simplicity, even marketing simplicity is noisy, right? But um, if we just really hone it in and pay attention, like simple is key.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Wonderful. Sarah, thank you so much for your time and for sharing a little slice of your life and a little slice of what you do. So, for people that want to know more about what you're doing, and I think you have some exciting things in store, where can people find you, your social media, website, all those things?
Um, well, I recently went through a rebrand, so everything's really easy. It's just sarahwashburnyoga.com or on IG, Sarah Washburn Yoga. Um, I'm not that active on Facebook. I still need to get a little more legit or streamlined on there. So that's still under the Just Breathe, my old brand. But a very profound reason why I chose that old uh, name, Just
Mm-hmm.
Breathe.
Just breathe.
But Sarah Washburn Yoga is exactly where everyone can find me.
Great.
I have an online platform with some basic classes that will really help balance out whether you need a slow meditative balance of hatha. There's that class available there. There's also, if you need something a little bit more vigorous, a great power class available, and then yin, of course, because that's just the balance of life.
Mm-hmm.
To slow down and breathe deep.
Mm.
But then in October, I am going back to the roots of where it began for me, and I have a yoga intensive immersion happening in Moab, Utah.
Wow.
And I'm so
Beautiful.
very excited.
I'm excited for you. Congratulations. Well, Sarah, thank you again